Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again. So let's talk about it. There's a video that has likely gone viral where this woman of my skin tone is talking about herself in a very disparaging way, talking about that she's ugly, unattractive, and that she's never been called beautiful by anyone other than her mother. And it really was sad. In fact, this brought tears to my eyes because I don't find this woman to be ugly at all. I think that she has allowed people in society, to basically tell her how to feel about herself, to determine how she views herself. And at the end of the day, that's something that none of us should ever do. And those of you who follow my spiritual channel, I told you a myriad of times that what other people say and think about us as it pertains to our looks specifically, we shouldn't worry about that because at the end of the day, it's called self-esteem for a reason. You should never let anyone else determine how you feel and think about yourself and who you are. Remember, beauty is only skin deep, and it's also in the eyes of the beholder. Okay, so like I said, this is a very sad video. I felt really bad for her. I still feel really bad for her. And I hope that she's able to see the beauty that she has within, rather than allowing people, to make her feel bad, to demean her, belittle her, and to put her down simply because of their own insecurities in some instances. And here's the thing. Some people will put down people that have similar features of their own. Some people are dark skinned, so they don't want to, view other dark skinned people as attractive because they don't feel attractive. And if you remember a video that came out years ago with Kodak Black, who's dark skinned, he said that he didn't want to date dark skinned women because he didn't want dark skinned children. That's nothing more than self-hate. And this is the reason why specifically we should not allow other people to determine how we feel about ourselves, because sometimes it's nothing wrong with us, but it's everything wrong with them, the people that are saying these things. Okay, so let's just get into it.
You guys are right. I am ugly. I finally come to realize that. The only person in the world that said that I was beautiful was my mother. I never forget it. I was young. And she said, I know y'all think my daughter's ugly, but my daughter is beautiful. I get inboxes from black men says I'm ugly for a black woman. I was with a woman for 14 years, told her every day she was beautiful. She never said once I was beautiful. Not even my dad said I look nice. So I come to accept the fact that I'm ugly and I never will be beautiful. That's why when the girls talk to me, they don't even like sleeping with me. I mean, I see the look on their faces. Even when I try to walk up to them, they'll give me this look. I know I'm ugly. I accept the fact that I guarantee you won't date nobody like me. You like those pretty studs, I get that. I'm ugly. And I accept that. So I'm not going to lie and say I'm fabulous or gorgeous, because I'm not that. I'm not that. I would never be that. Like I said, the only person in the world that told me I was beautiful is my mother. You guys never said that. And the thing about it is, you guys are lucky. You got people walking up to you, damn, you fine, I'll never get that. I'll never get that. I never will. I'm an ugly black woman, and I accept that. Take care.
Absolutely heartbreaking to watch. Okay, that is very sad. At the end of the day, she says no one's ever told her she was beautiful other than her mother. But rather than listening and believing her mother's words, she's allowed people on the outside to determine how she feels about herself. And it's really sad. That's a problem with many of us, especially us darker skinned people, specifically darker skinned women, because we all know that women of my skin tone are the most disrespected women on the planet. And that's just a fact. And specifically here in the United States, we have an issue with that. So let's talk about it, because this all goes back to slavery. Okay, it all goes back to slavery at the end of the day. So with that all being said, body image and beauty among African American women can only be truly understood within a framework of interlocking systems of isms: racism, sexism, classism, colorism, and on and on. Now, according to Black feminist theory, the devaluation of U.S. Black women is rooted in the institution of American slavery. Black women's bodies were routinely violated for others' profits and pleasure without recourse or protection. During the slave era, negative, controlling images of Black women emerged. Black women were viewed as hypersexual Jezebels or sapphires, deserving of sexual exploitation, or as breeder women lawfully usable for populating owners' plantations with new slave stock, or for the generation revenues. And this is absolutely the truth. Okay, they have said many things negatively about women of a darker hue. They have held lighter skinned black people up to a higher standard, put them, on a pedestal above those of us who are darker skinned. Now, in the past and still even today, black women's bodies and beauty have largely been devalued and rejected by mainstream culture, which overvalues the European aesthetic and undervalues the aesthetic of other racial or ethnic groups with the exception of erotic or exoticizing them. Have you ever seen black guys who date outside of their race and they say, oh, they're looking for someone who's more exotic? Well, that's just crazy to me. Like when they're dating someone who's Latina and they say, oh, they look so exotic, or someone who's biracial, oh, they look exotic. At the end of the day, black women are exotic. Okay, please pay attention. But you see, we get caught up with the European standard of beauty and we start to judge ourselves and others based off of that. Now, the U.S. puts a premium on fair or white skinned, blonde, straight hair, blue eyes, and considers these features basically the epitome of beauty. Features more akin to the African aesthetic are deemed as ugly, undesirable, and less feminine. And we all know this to be true. We all know this is a fact. But as far as I'm concerned, black is beautiful. And I feel that if this young woman were of a lighter hue, maybe she wouldn't have that complex. I think that she feels that she's ugly because she has darker skin. That's what I think. And I think that other people have made her feel that way even more so. But we come in all shades and colors. Okay? We come in all shades and colors. And it's very interesting when we have people who look like this young lady, which I don't think she's ugly at all. I didn't see anything ugly about her. In fact, I think she's beautiful. She has beautiful melanated skin. Okay? She has nice full lips. She has very nice features. These are the same features that some people go out and pay for. These are the same features that some people envy. But she would let people lead her to believe that she's ugly. And it's absolutely very sad and very unfortunate. It is absolutely unfortunate. I mean, even just days ago, I reported to you how the beautiful supermodel, Ahmadiyyah, was called a cockroach by a photographer. Now, I'm sorry, but that man had to know that this woman is beautiful. Do you think that he really finds her to look like a cockroach? Absolutely not. Envious, jealous of her beautiful melanated skin. At least that's what I believe. And the notion, in some cases, people feel like the notion of lighter skin being more desirable than darker skin among Black Americans. And, that too stems from slavery. That stems from white Americans' historical belief that Black Americans with white ancestry are more capable of being civilized than Africans who lacked white heritage. Okay, and this is what's been said by scholars and from research. Now, before the notion of white people's biological superiority was disproven in the early mid 20th century, I would say, well, white Americans largely believed in biological differences between racial groups. And therefore, Black people with white ancestry, they were thought to be closer to white, and their features were considered superior over those of us who are of a darker hue, which I find absolutely egregious and very sad. Okay, I find this all very sad because at the end of the day, they talk about our skin tone, they talk about our hair and all of those things. By the early 1900s, the cosmetic industry emerged and encouraged darker skinned people to lighten their skin tone even, to start using bleaching products, which were commonly advertised. And you see many darker skinned people doing this, and it's really sad, especially if you go over to Jamaica, okay, the Dominican Republic. You see these beautiful melanated people just ruining their melanin, okay, removing the pigment from their skin, lightening their melanin because they think that it's so much more attractive to be of a lighter hue, which is absolutely crazy to me. And they also advertised, these products to straighten natural hair. And this prompted a dialogue among Black Americans about whether to reject such beauty products and then basically embrace their natural features, or to adhere to these standards as a means to survive. Okay, and like I said, this is what scholars have said. And I find it all very interesting because at the end of the day, If it were so ugly, if it were so unattractive, then you should be asking yourselves, why is it that so many people from other races and other ethnic groups go out and purchase, different things so that they look more like women who look like me, going and getting their lips filled with collagen to have fuller lips. Okay, there are some women who have gone out, and I did a video on this a few years ago, if you all remember. I believe the woman was Russian, but she went and got injections in her skin so that she would be of a darker hue, so that she would look like I do. And then what about the blackfishing? These women who are not black at all, Rachel Dolezal, okay? And the woman, Emma, I don't remember her last name, but from Sweden, okay, very fair skinned, but puts on this makeup that's 3 shades darker than her actual skin tone so that she at least can look biracial. At the end of the day, why do you think they're doing that? It isn't because being dark skinned is unattractive. Okay, that's just a seed that was planted to make people feel inferior about themselves. And it's also a known fact that people of a darker hue age a whole lot better than those without. That's just the fact. And it's really sad that we have to have these conversations in 2024. It's really sad and unfortunate that a beautiful woman is told that she's ugly, and even by her own race of people. And here's the thing. She said that black men get in her DMs and tell her that she's ugly for a black woman. Now, here's my guess. Some of these men, if not all, are saying that not because they actually think she's ugly, this is just my opinion, but because she's LGBTQ, because she openly admits that she dates women. So they know they don't stand a chance with her. So, maybe that's why some of them are saying it, because even if they thought she was ugly, what compelled them to get into her DMs and tell her that? I just find it all nefarious at the end of the day. So please drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this, because I think she's absolutely beautiful. And the interesting thing is her voice. If you close your eyes, she really sounds a lot, because I was thinking that voice sounds so familiar, but she sounds a lot like Whoopi Goldberg, who also is beautiful in my opinion. And I remember watching an old a comedy show with Whoopi Goldberg when she was younger. I saw this a few years ago, and Whoopi talked about how she wanted to bleach her skin, how she put bleach in a tub of water and got in it, and how she wanted to have blonde hair and all of these things. Listen, this is all stuff that came from the, not Jim Crow, but from the Willie Lynch letter. Okay, this was a tactic used by slave owners, specifically put together by one from Virginia, who taught slave owners how they can keep their slaves from uniting against them and rising up against them on plantations. All you have to do, he said, was turn the darker skinned ones against the lighter skinned ones. Make the lighter skinned ones feel that they were better. Make those be the house ninjas, and then have the other ones to think that they're less because of the dark hue of their skin. When in fact, in all reality, the darker slaves, why did they call them the field ninjas? Because they wanted them out there in the fields. Because of their dark melanin, they could stay in the sun a whole lot longer. Melanin is a superpower, and they knew it then and they know it now. So it's really sad that some of our people allow others to make them think that their melanin is a curse, when in fact it is a blessing. Okay, so please drop me a line, drop me a comment to let me know what you think about all of this. Until next time, beloveds, I'll talk to you all again soon.